personally. So, yun,
Correct.
hello, welcome.
Yeah, we'd like for everyone to turn to the women on their sides, left and right, and greet each other. Happy Women's Month!
Yeah.
Mag-hug, de joke lang. Tapik.
Oo.
So happy Women's Month to every girl, every woman in this room, and to everyone who will be listening to this podcast. So again, it's recorded because we hope to upload it on our Spotify. If you haven't followed us yet, please follow us on Instagram and also on our Spotify.
I don't know if it's your second time or first time. Who are the first timers sa aming live? Almost everyone. Ay, hindi. Tama. Okay. So, but before anything else, we should introduce ourselves. Our podcast, Why She Works, here we celebrate women entrepreneurs, social impact leaders, creatives. We envisioned a podcast that will reinforce representation of women or entrepreneurs in general. It's just a space where we can go to when us ourselves along the way when doing our own thing. We need the spark of inspiration or re-spark of inspiration. We started in late 2023.
Yes.
Kailan pala, with the support, of course, of the Spark Project and the Sasakawa Peace Foundation.
Yeah. So as mentioned by Patch, we've produced 8 episodes so far. So if you need inspiration, motivation, you can go back at our Spotify podcast and listen to any of our episodes. We also have some of our previous guests here. So I'd like to acknowledge them in the audience. Please wave or stand and let's give them a round of applause. Yes. So, and now we introduce ourselves after the podcast. I am Trish Francia, producer and writer of the podcast and your co-host. Outside of Why She Works, I am co-founder and CEO of Woven, a compassionate crafts company that works hand in hand with Filipino artisans. I'm also a teacher, consultant to different organizations, and a mom. So kung may marinig kayo na baby, yelling mama, that is my baby. And you, Aya?
I'm Aya Fernandez. I am the founder and CEO of Eco Uling. We are a livelihood projector and social enterprise. We manufacture Eco Uling or eco-friendly charcoals made from biomass waste or coconut shells. We fight to combat deforestation, and we work closely with communities to provide green jobs. And fun fact, before I met Trish, but Trish, she has a book and I consider her one of my mentors because sila ni John, they have a book, and then I consider it as one of my guiding light in running the company. And even si Patch, the Respark, it's called Respark. During the pandemic, it was like a guiding light to me as well. And mamaya ako nababanggitin yung sa guests natin, but to give you a background of it's just really a learning circle. You always learn from the people you are with, and then they happen to be your friend along the way.
Yeah. So Aya is very generous with her compliments, and she really approached Woven before pa. And a lot of brands, social and local brands, she approaches to be able to support them. So ayan yung powers ni Aya. So thank you to everyone who responded here to our online invitation and took the time to be with us here in Makati. Again, we're in Conscious Commons, an inspired space where connections are made, ideas come alive, and the next chapter of your venture begins.
Nice. Nga pala, nakakalimutan kong recorded to. So, konting visualization uli para sa listeners in the podcast. Bakit kinikilig until now? So, konting visualization, like in the first episode, so we're in a room, so Conscious Commons, it's packed with women and men as well, our allies. We have lovely tea buffet, merong masarap na food, tapos merong mga flower arrangement. Shout out to my mom who arranged most of them. And So merong pop-up at the back ng Woven. They have a new collection. Napakaganda. I'll check that out later. Hindi yun sponsored. And then, of course, kami ni Trish, nasa harap. Merong pa-tea set din. Meron ding tea set by the audience na pwede nilang gamitin. Pwede ring i-take home. And meron din ako nakikitang mga possible giveaways at the back.
Yes.
It's such a very chill, warm afternoon.
Yes, and we're on stage with two wonderful guests. We'll get to know them in a bit. But before that, konti na lang. We just want to acknowledge a few partners and guests. Patch Dulay of Spark Project for hosting us today, for holding space, literally for our stories and ideas. Thank you to the Woven team for organizing this together with us in the form of the pop-up. Thanks to Tsaa, Laya, si Jameer for sponsoring our tea, and Skin Station for our giveaways. Thank you to Aya. So, yeah.
All right. So now we visualize the stage. We've set the energy. Did we? We are eating food. I can see our audience laid, chilled back on their seats. So now, we're now going to our topic of the day. What is girl math?
Yes. So I was very intrigued when Aya pitched this idea to us. There's a lot to unpack. And if you go on TikTok, on Reels, diba, this isn't the first time we've heard about the term. And we're excited to discuss it with Miss Zarah Juan of Zarah Juan and Pola del Monte of Miss Chief Editor. So before we discuss it, please introduce yourselves. We give the floor to you.
Nagturuan. Thank you guys. I'm so happy to be here. I'm here because I also want to share and I want to learn, and I'm very excited to learn from all of you today. So kahit we are here in front, I'm really very excited to also learn from everybody. So let it be an open conversation. My name is Zarah Juan. I am a creative entrepreneur. I honestly can say that I started with arts and crafts, with buting-ting and stuff like that. And I'm very much thankful that I was able to find what's under the sun for me. And I just followed the creative side of myself. I am a mother and a wife. A breadwinner, used to be a breadwinner also in our family in Bulacan. Meron akong dalawang kapatid na babae at isang kapatid na lalaki. And through perseverance and creativity, again, I was able to help out the family. Galing. My story today, I'd like to share with you how creativity played a big role in what I do today. And it's a summary of who I am right now. So thank you guys for having me today, and I'm very excited to share and learn today.
It's our honor. Yes, Paula.
Hello, everyone, and happy Women's Month! Yay! So I'm Paula. If Miss Zarah is a businesswoman, I am not a businesswoman. I am a writer, which means I am not good at math. So I don't know why I'm here, but I guess, yeah. So I am a writer, I'm a journalist and a communication consultant and a content creator. I post at Miss Chief Editor. I usually interrogate power in society through press releases, news items, etc. So I'm also a synquad. Do you know what that means? Synquad. Single income.
Oh, yeah.
No kids with a dog. Times 3. Times 3. So yeah, that's me.
I love
One
that.
with a dog.
Diba?
Ano pala ako? Mink mommy ako. Pero with dogs.
Yan lang naman. Palakpakan naman natin yung guests natin. They are both multi-awarded. They're both very highly accomplished. And in here, we really let our guests introduce themselves because that's just how we want to do it, you know. So now, let's go right into it. Para dun sa mga hindi nakakalam ko ng girl math, allow me to read the definition. So, girl math started as a Gen Z coined term, if you're not familiar. And we'd like to believe in why she works, that it reflects deeper reality. So the intuitive ways women assess value, time, yung mga trade-offs and decision-making. Pwedeng mababa, pwede rin mas malalim. Kahit ano, we'll explore and more than just a joke, we really think merong potential to showcase critical thinking, problem solving, etc. Pwede rin hindi. So, malalaman natin today kung ano nga ba yung palagay ng guests natin.
Yeah. Sakto, kasi we have a wordsmith to dissect the term girl math, diba? And from a media standpoint, what do you think of the term? What's the consensus about it?
Well, 2 words, no? Girl and math. And parang I was thinking about it, bakit kaya girl? Why not women? Why not woman math? Diba? Or lady math? Well, the thing is, with woman, it's been, woman is so often used, even for negative, sometimes for negative terms, like abused women, diba? Ganyan. But with girl, it's likely usually just cute, diba? Very positive. And when you attach that positivity, that lightheartedness to math, which is another term that is sometimes parang it ignites fear for some people, myself included. And then when you attach it there, parang it creates a tension. Diba? Parang, girl math, what is this? It sounds cute. And then when you look at the examples, if you have cash in your wallet and then you buy something with it, then it's free.
Nakikita ko ngayon.
It's free na raw.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Parang, so it's cute, but in the same in what's been said in the media about it is also in a way perpetuating the idea that women are bad at math.
Yeah.
That it's a gendered way of spending and lavish spending at that. Parang now we're impractical. So there's like a good side and a bad side to it. But I think for the most part, it's just a fun way to look at how we spend. And women, girls, I think we have a unique way of spending because and especially now that there are more women who are working, diba, as opposed to before na taga-bili, consumerist. Now we're able to justify our purchases. So we are accomplished women who can buy stuff that probably parang hindi mahirap i-justify before. Pero now, we're able to earn it and we're proud of it. It's girl math, diba?
Yeah.
It's not something to be ashamed of.
So there's empowerment also in the
Yeah.
purchases.
Can I just say, ang dami kong unang tanong pa lang
Ano
yan.
ba?
Hindi, ang ganda na sinabi mo na nga, yung girl, hindi nga siya ginagamit for like serious newsworthy concepts. O nga, no? Wow, I love it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Before we proceed, sino dito yung hindi familiar sa girl math muna? Sorry, ina-assume ko kaagad na alam siya ng lahat na trend eh. Okay, if you're shy, basically para siyang, it's like if I buy a 100 peso na pack ng clustered lashes, tapos merong 10 pairs, so parang 10 pesos each, mura siya. Parang ganon siya. Or like, if I buy a bag na, let's say, kunwari lang, 3,000 pesos, gagamitin ko siya ng 565 times.
Yeah.
So, i-divide mo lang siya. Okay, per day, ginagamit ko lang siya ng kunwari lang, 200 pesos. Mura siya. Ganon.
Yeah. May earliest exposure yung ate ko, eldest sister. Pag kino-convince niya yung nanay ko bumili ng something na beyond budget. No, it's an investment, Mom. Use it this many times. So, very early on, okay, girl math. Pero for those who aren't familiar, magandang perspective yung from Miss Zarah Juan. Kasi when we had the pre-prod, you were talking about that you were researching on it on TikTok. So, what was your first reaction to girl math?
Actually, like what Paula said, there's like a slight parang it's twisted in a way that puts down women.
Yeah.
Because it's like picturing women as bad in spendings or calculating or in general bad in numbers. Well, in fact, di ba, lumaki tayo sa mga magulang natin, sa mga nanay natin na super galing mag-budget sa bahay. And then, I have a 21-year-old son, and I told him that I will be here for, and the topic is girl math, and she said, "Why did you say yes to that?" Yeah, will they put you in a position wherein you're one of them? Kasi nga alam niya yung meaning ng girl math. So I had to ask him, what is it? Kaso nga yung context usually sa TikTok or sa social media is negative. Bakit hindi male-female? Parang pwede bang sabihin female math? Walang ganun di ba? So, parang it's like a gender slur. Parang ganun the way I see it. But it's so nice that the topic is like that right now. Like for me, I think in terms of age gap, meron ako. Parang ako yung ate niya dito. And I'm actually having a hard time understanding it. And if I can define it my way and you learn from me and you define it your way, then I learn from you guys, then we can come up with something. Take home tayo na, this is, yeah, I'm a girl math, and so what? Diba? And galing ko kaya ko diba? So if I buy 100 pesos, yeah, yung pilik mata ko is 12 pesos, but ganda ko sa picture.
Yun
diba? And I'm
you
happy.
assess it according to different things. Diba?
And then it will not depreciate my savings. There's a calculation, diba?
Ayan
And it's
na.
part of the budget. Diba? Buy by all means. But if number one, it gives you good pictures, makes you happy, but then you have to use your credit card where you would spend, that would incur interest after several months, then I guess it's not practical. So those things I've learned through the years. So paano ba natin, kanina may narinig akong justify. I feel like when we spend something, we really do not need to justify. There's always an approach to things that sometimes we are so tempted, but it's a matter of having discipline. So we do not really justify, but we approach things in a very practical manner. Wait, so be serious. Going back to your question.
Segue na nga. Actually,
Oo.
ang ganda-gandang segue niya. Kasi nagsisimula tayo sa mga simpleng bagay. Pero, oo, dahil lumalalim sila ng lumalalim. Pero yung mga malalalim na bagay pala, simple lang din pala sila.
So, what do I mean by this? So it's like we're starting from a big picture. Now let's go smaller and smaller to our next question. How do you apply that kind of line of thinking? Let's start first from the lens of business. You mentioned earlier, when you spend money, you do not need to justify. But today, we'd like to discuss what is smart spending versus risk spending.
Serious na.
Fear in our hearts.
So parang risk spending, when do you do risk spending?
Yeah.
Diba? And when do you, of course, okay, business. Sa business, guys, I'm not saying I'm the best here or like my business is very, very successful and then I have something to like for you guys to follow. What I'm actually saying here is it's a journey. Diba? Business sometimes positive, sometimes negative. May pandemic, there are mga external factors that it's beyond your control. So how do you survive that and things like that? So in terms of spending, one thing I learned from one of my mentors when it comes to business, yung survival ng isang business, nakataya siya kung gaano ka-ready pagka meron crisis. So for example, pandemic, marami nag-fold up. Why? Kasi nung dumating yun, walang naka-anticipate nun, hindi pala ready to handle crisis. So dapat marunong tayong mag-manage ng pera natin kung saan tayo gagastos at saka saan tayo hindi gagastos. At kung meron tayong itatabi kahit negosyo siya, dapat nagsisave din yung business. So yung tanong, napakalalim ng when do you spend and when do you know it's risk? So yung risk na yun, very delicate siya. But for me, I've learned how to do calculated risk. Kasi kung wala ka namang risk, you will not know what's at the other end of, and you won't see other opportunities if you are not a risk taker. But I think it's also smart that we start from mga fundamentals. Meaning to say, if we start with fundamentals, ano yon? Mga simpleng bagay na hindi highfalutin when we put up our business. I remember putting up my very first experience with business when I started selling 10 pieces of bags, the katsa bags, long time ago.
Wow.
Ang unang sinabi ng asawa ko, oy, i-register mo na yan. Magpa-DTI ka na, magpa-BIR ka na, and stuff like that. I'm like, 10 pieces na bags, 100 pesos isa. Hindi ko nga alam kung kumita ako or hindi. Why would I register? Diba? Parang ang mahal magpa-register. It's so scary to have BIR and stuff like that. But he said, you'll never know when the right opportunity would knock on your door and they would ask for your credentials, and you will miss the opportunity because you're not legit. They might think that you're a mom and pop that will just disappear when they give you big business. So you'll miss the opportunity. And I did that. Fundamental. When you decide to put up a business, think 100 times. And then if you have decided this is it for you, then do the right thing. First, register it. It would actually solidify your commitment sa business na yon. Hindi ka tatakbo, naka-register na ako. Di ba? And then, number 2, math. It's very intimidating, definitely. Takot din ako sa numero, but there is no other way. Fundamental, know your numbers. If we, I'm on the creative side, and being creative is very much addicting. When you create something beautiful, you focus on the beauty, and you tend to like put away all those nitty-gritty. Kasi parang na-stress ako dyan, ayoko mag-compute. But you have to develop a certain level of discipline because you want to continue creating and follow your bliss in this creative side that makes you happy. You will not be able to sustain it if money is dwindling. So we have to have the right mindset to it. Yes, I love being creative. Yes, I don't like numbers, but I need to have a balance of perspective so that I can continue what makes me really happy. So when you have fundamentals, numbers, doing the right thing, learning, endless learning. Tomorrow I'm flying to Jakarta to learn something new. And people would say, oh, mag-aaral ka pa? Of course. So you have the fundamentals that would actually equip you to say, wait, I can take the risk. Kasi somehow, it's like a puzzle that is in your brain. Sorry, ganito ko i-describe. And then it will equip you. It will make you, it will give you confidence in saying, I'll take the plunge. I'll do this. I'll step out of my box. I always say, stepping outside the box, you can only do that if there is mastery of your box. This is your box, this is me, and you have mastery of things inside the box. That's the only time you can get out of the box and try new things. But you cannot say, oh, I'm gonna step out of my box and bahala na. That's risk. That's super risky.
Restless.
Restless ka na after.
Yeah.
But if you say risk taker ka, but it's calculated risk, I have mastery. Somehow you're equipped to go out of your box and say, I'll do it. And then there is also one thing that's I always do when I do like make a decision with risk. If it's something I can afford to lose, I'll take it.
But can we repeat that?
If it's something I can afford to lose. Money-wise. For example, 50,000 pesos, kaya ko bang mawala? Masakit yun, ang laki nun. But pag nawala yun, hinto ba yung negosyo ko? Pag ang sagot doon, yes. Kahit gigil na gigil ka doon sa risk. Think twice, step back, baka next time na lang, equip yourself more, and then do it. Pero kung 50,000 pag nawala yan, it's okay, mabubuhay pa kami. I'll do it. Tapos natalo ako, nawala 50,000, niloko ka, hindi na It's okay. I learned. But you always take the learnings with you. And hopefully you don't do it again. Pag ginawa mo pa ulit yun, maubos ka, di ba? So may mga awareness na ganon. And that's numbers. Still, you go back to your books. Can I afford it? Yes, I can afford it. I can take the risk. I cannot afford it. I'll step back. I'll equip myself until I can afford it. It's not saying no right away.
Yeah, and if you afford it, if I lose this money, at sa kangkungan ako pupulutin, then it is not worth taking the risk.
Yeah, kasi you have to think of other
Yeah.
people as well.
Good
People
na
who works
inulit
with you.
natin yun. Oh.
Yeah. So I think that's calculated. Di ba? Oo.
Wow, thank you.
Meron kang pakakawalan, meron kang hindi pakakawalan.
Yeah.
Oo. Yung iba ayaw bumitiw, kaya hindi lumalaki.
Now, okay. Copy, noted. Thank you. Smart spending versus risk spending. You would, what I got from what Ms. Zara answered is that there's no right and wrong, but there is always ifs and merong limit to each. You mentioned also plunge on decisions, plunging in. Miss Paula, I noticed with your line of work, it's so brave. Every time you post something, it's so sure. It's like plunging every time. And that's why I look up to you for it.
Super.
I'd like to know your take on that question. What's risk spending? What is smart spending based on your line of work?
Yeah. And also how you apply it. Like, you're a wordsmith, you're a writer. So how does that apply yung concept of girl math to you?
Ako, I wanna add to what you mentioned earlier about learning. So my own girl math is when I was 11 years old, I was given a book. The title of the book is The Girl Genius Guide to Life. It's such a cute book.
By
Catherine McCon. So she's an American stand-up comic, pero she wrote a book na parang women empowerment. Yun. And then, meron doon nakalagay, women have been conditioned to spend more on things that go on top of their heads. Meaning shampoo, conditioner, facial wash, Botox, skincare, diba? Than inside their heads. So, after I read that, mas nag-choose na ako mag-focus on spending more on books or ganyan. So, until now, it was so life-changing because until now, that's my philosophy. So, kunwari, I am at a level now na parang kaya ko na magpa-nose lift. Kaso, magma-masters muna ako. So, pag nakapag-masters na ako, baka pwede na. Unahin natin yung masters. So yun yung parang girl, I don't know if that's girl math or just me math, but, and speaking of pala, girl math, sorry if I may also come back. Kasi yung reaction of your son ba? Parang shock siya,
Shock
diba?
siya,
Parang negative.
yeah. Yes.
Bakit nga ba girl math? So, sabihin, parang girl boss. Diba? Redundant. Pwede naman maging boss ang girl. Hindi mo kailangan ng girl boss. So, girl math, ibig sabihin, math is not gender neutral? Does it mean that math is male? Kasi girl math, so kaya ba siya negative? Diba?
Bakit
Kaya
walang
ba
boy
negative?
math?
Oo.
Yeah.
Meron akong narinig,
Meron ako
sabi,
nakita nga.
man math daw. So, iba pa yung man.
Mathematics.
Boy.
Yeah.
Anyway, so going back to what you said about braveness and ganyan. So yes, I post very bravely. That's why I don't quit my day job. Because it will put me in an awkward position where I might sacrifice my own principles, my values. And with content creation, nakikita naman natin yung biglang gambling ad or now with the elections, ang dami ng mga kung sino-sinong politiko. As a content creator, I don't want to get to that stage. So, I keep my day job. Sometimes it limits me because I don't have as much time and headspace to create content. But I feel like as long as I'm getting my target market, it's okay. So, risk I think that's my calculated risk. Yung being a multi-hyphenate, doing different things, but having one stable source of income. But at the same time, being able to try other different things. Pero meron pa rin, it's still a source of income. Diba? Pero yun, I think, yung calculated for me.
Correct. Nice.
Ang dami ko rin.
See? Sarap makinig.
Nagda-download pa siya sa utak ko eh. Parang iniisa-isa pa eh. Nakahusay.
Yeah, and I think one thing that we discussed when we were talking to each other was about how women's intuition comes into play when you're doing girl math, diba? So how do you, when the math isn't mathing, diba? How do you,
When the math
daming Gen Z terms. Hindi naman ako Gen Z. But yeah, when the math isn't mathing, like how do you react to that or how do you manage it?
Habang nag-isip sila, nakita ko yung nanay ko, okay pa naman siya. So, okay pa yung mga terms natin.
Mother.
Siya tulog eh. Okay yun.
Nakikinig si Mami.
Okay pa yung indication na yun.
Intuition.
Yes.
Okay. May physical attribute sa akin yung intuition. Butterfly. In my tummy. I don't think it's anxiety, but there is like physical manifestation sa body ko. And it's really the butterflies in my tummy. Okay? So, but because if I make a decision that way, hindi lang kasi ako yung nakataya. And it's a business. There's so many people behind me and the communities we collaborate. So, the intuition now is, again, very strategic when I act on it. You don't need to act on all these intuitions, but at least it's in your inbox that, I felt this something or I kind of felt it that merong something wrong or something good about something. It's just there. So I have learned to manage my intuition or parang stuff that there's something going on, pero hindi ko kailangan lagyan kaagad ng decision. So I step back. When I step back, and if I can afford to step back and buy time, na gagawan ko ng tamang decision yung intuition kasi nagkakaroon ng clarity. The intuition kasi is like sometimes you have to decide now, right now. Di ba? So, again, babalik siya sa calculated risk. So, kung meron parang hunch or something happening that's a big decision, a big opportunity, too good to be true sometimes, but it's a big opportunity and you're not sure about it, I step back. Okay, if I can afford it.
So, surface level, first step should be backed up first by logic talaga muna. Is that...
Yes.
But did it happen to you ever that logic says, don't go for it, but you went for it and it was the right decision?
Very rare. And that actually, for me, is being realistic. Again, I'd go back to all the considerations in your life. Iba-iba tayo ng considerations, priorities in life. So intuition, it's there, but I have learned to manage it. Like, should I act on it or I just let it be? It's there. I'm aware it's there. But the question is, kailan ka mag-act sa intuition or not? If the risk is too big, but the opportunity is also very big, ano unahin mo? Di ba? Ano unahin ko?
Okay.
Hindi ko alam.
Ang ganda nun. Okay. Before we hear from Ms. Pola, kanina nabanggit natin sa discussion yung female founder, girl boss. Personally, let me know if you agree or disagree. Personally, it's good when the intention is to like gather ourselves together, celebrate the representation, inspire younger ones that we exist. Kasi mahirap nga naman kung bata ka, tapos wala ka nakikitang kamukha mo na ginagawa yung gusto mong ma-achieve. But when it becomes an indicator of your skill, of it blurs the line of your competence, and you're just judged by it, then I think that becomes problematic. Kasi literal kami, why she works, diba? Bakit, why we work, diba? Di na lang ganun ba? Diba di na why we work, diba? Oh, galit pala kayo na merong women, chururut. Oh, ba't pa kayo nag-Women's Month? Eh, nag-months na lang sana. Happy month! Diba? Happy Humans Month. Hindi. It's because we have a long history of oppression. And we're here because we celebrate our representation, women in STEM, women in sports, etc. But when it becomes an identifier na, let's say you're in a crowd where gender is not, well, there shouldn't any be a crowd there wherein it's like that. But you are just identified na nitpick na, kasi female founder, so she got there. Parang ganon. Then that for me, it becomes problematic. So yun lang, just to clear out the air, that's for me. I don't know if you agree or not, but that's why we're here. But moving forward, let's hear from Miss Pola on your take on our...
When the math isn't mathing.
Math isn't mathing.
And then just to ride off that, diba, now more than ever, when our voices are being threatened to, suppressed. So we have to speak out. So for you, how does that play into you?
I think for creatives who are in this line of work or in media, ganyan, I think it's very important to take care of yourself first. And it's not even an open secret anymore. It's an open fact that media workers are underpaid and overworked. So that's why I left full-time because parang it adds to your, imagine you're working tapos pinaproblema mo pa yung hindi kayo in the red kayo ng kumpanya, mga ganun. So that's why I have a day job. So I'm a corporate editor. And then I have my journal on the side. I write siguro now mga once a month, twice a month. But I still get to practice my passion, diba? And
Correct.
social capital. Hindi financial capital yung reward, pero social capital, I think. But it's also still a source of income. I mean, it's not zero. Meron pa rin. For me, it's very important to have multiple sources of income, no matter what your career is. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Kahit empleyado ka or employer ka, you have to have multiple sources of income. I started saving for my retirement when I was 25 years old. Through...
Oh my God, yes.
And
Diba?
and being a synquad is also a financial decision for me. Kasi yung dogs, oh my gosh, the most I spent on the dog was I think 30,000. Dahil inoperahan siya. Pero 30,000, sabi ko, wala pa yan sa tuition fee ng 1 Sims. Okay na yun.
Correct.
Carry na yun. So, I think all these life decisions, and especially if you're a creative, dami sabi, starving artist, ganyan. Now, we're at a time where it's accepted to have multiple jobs, where you can find work online, where you can have your own page, where you can, monetize, that you can monetize.
Promote yourself.
Diba? Promote yourself, network with different people. And that's also important for me. When the math isn't mathing, where will you go? So I remember nung pandemic, I was working at an agency. It was so, kasi wala na nag-i-invest sa marketing nung pandemic. Because nga, yun yung inuna nilang stop to spend, diba? Marketing. So, I'm so burnt out, I really wanna quit my job. And then, naisip ko, I can still write kahit pa paano may papasok pa rin ng pera. So, ganun. Parang, for me, that's how I approach things. Hindi siya, it's always, parang always have a cushion.
Correct.
Yeah.
Agree. I super agree with that. If I may add, like her, she would, parang ilang beses ko narinig na hindi niya makwit yung day job, di ba? And I think it's mathing, right? I remember, long time ago, I used to be a flight Sorry, ako nga yung ate ninyo. So, long time ago, I used to be a flight attendant.
Oh.
Wow. Yeah. And Sarap noon, single. And I used to fly with Northwest Airlines. Wala na yun, Delta Airlines na ngayon. So it's an American airline. And during that time, ganda ng benefits namin, ang ganda ng sweldo. Wala pa ang social media noon. Actually, wala pa mga Wi-Fi. So, wala pa mga picture. It's really just pure traveling. Wala pa mga selfie. But I remember I had that job for 7 years. And then, bigla akong nasawa. Take off, landing. Decision making, magsha-shopping or matutulog. Wow, ang sarap ng mga problem, di ba? But you know, what happened there, bakit ko naisip na I need to move forward, nawalan ako ng personal growth. And I think that's something you think about, to think about. Kasi kung nasaan tayo ngayon, like you also mentioned kanina, priorities, take care of yourself. Kahit nasaan tayong time ng buhay natin, na-experience ko, I always ask myself, meron ba akong growth dito? Am I growing here? If the answer is yes, tuloy. Happy. Pero pag naisip mo na parang, ay, wala na, ito na lang ba yung para sa akin? Diba? Then I started doing something else. Doon ko nakita yung eco bags in Japan back in 2005 na dito that time yung word na eco bag, parang what's that? Or if nagdala ka ng katsa bag sa supermarket, sasabihin ng mga friends mo, ang tanga mo, why don't you get plastic bag for your trash bag? Your trash can, di ba? Libreng trash can na yan. Iba yung mindset. But that actually gave me a purpose nung natutunan ko yung concept na yun sa Japan. So, for personal growth, so super babaw. Pag day off ko sa Manila, I would go straight to Divisoria, buy myself katsa, rent out a 15 peso per hour makina in Evangelista and make myself katsa bags.
Wow.
2 pieces, 3 pieces. And then, dadalhin ko sa flight ko and I would encourage my friends to say, uy, don't use plastic bag. Use my bag. And then that's actually started the 10 or 10 pieces na order for a baptism. Nasabi ng asawa ko, pa-register mo na yan with a 10 pieces order. And then after the baptism, it became a souvenir for a wedding, 100 pieces. O, di ba? Meron na ang OR noon. And then, I don't know kung may nakakaalala pa sa inyo nito. After noon, sabi ng asawa ko, oh, what's next? So I put it in sulit.com.
Oh my gosh.
Sinong nakakaalam nun?
Siyempre.
Yung iba, hindi na nila alam, my God. OLX. Okay. That's just
It's like to date someone pala.
Okay, sulit.com, OLX. It's like a buy and sell secondhand. And mostly there, puro secondhand cars and stuff like that. But it's the only platform that is so much accessible. It's easy.
Yeah.
Pag yung engine niya mabilis, yun unang lumalabas. So I just put there, green bag maker. Okay? So green bag maker, and during that time na nagsulit.com now, I remember having 2 makina in our garahe. Okay. And then pumutok, biglang naglabas ang SM ng bring your own bag.
Pumutok.
Bring your own bag Wednesday, parang ganon. And then everybody started asking who made the green bag of SM. And then people would Google, then lalabas yung company ko, Green Leaf Bags, because of sulit.com. And that's a tipping point. So it all started there. So what happened there? Personal growth. Because I asked the question, am I growing? Or, di ba, nainip ako, naghanap ako ng gagawin ko, nagkatikot ako ng katsa bag. And then one thing led to another. Doing the right thing, fundamentals, know your numbers, do the right thing. So when people started asking who made the eco bags of SM, napapunta ako sa SM. SM called me to make the bags. O pag SM nang tumawag sa'yo, credentials. Tama ang asawa ko.
Yeah.
Napaka-inspirational, Miss Zarah Juan, to know that. Kasi look at your bag now.
Yes.
From
Kumanin mo.
Katsa bags to the
That's the
Zarah
Wally
Juan.
bag. Thank you, guys. Wow.
Yes, we have
Ganda ng model ko.
Beautiful bags.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.
And it started with a katsa bag.
Yeah.
So,
And it's a personal question, personal growth, personal advocacy. Gusto ko makatulong sa environment. Bakit ba? I want. Diba? And there. So,
Nag-grow din yung bag.
nag-grow din yung bag.
Yeah. And today, Ms. Zarah, or the brand Zarah Juan, has been impacting and working with artisans,
Yes.
communities, livelihoods, Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao.
Thank you.
Today.
Thank you. Yeah.
I know that story already, but like listening to it, like real time, it's just nasa starstruck lang ako, honestly.
Oh, ako nga first time, tapos parang, ang
Yeah.
galing talaga ni Zarah.
And
Galing.
yeah, to our listeners, nga pala nasa podcast
Nasa
tayo.
podcast.
I'd really would like to emphasize on the papers because it's not easy, I'll be honest, here in the Philippines, lalo na, to secure all the permits from all the agencies, but it's a must because it's easy for those who have the capacity to bring you down if they get threatened by you. We can be threatened by potential, and for sure everyone is in this room is here because we all have the same passion to make a difference. So yun lang. I just like to put emphasis on that to our listeners or everyone here. If you are planning to start anything, it's not easy, but it's worth it. And if you need help on that, you have a community to reach out to ask questions about that. You have Ms. Zarah Juan here.
And Spark. Oh.
And Spark. So yun.
Yeah. So magandang kasi you're already talking about personal growth or what's valuable to you guys moving forward, diba? I came across an article recently sa CNN which I shared with sina Aya and Patch. There's a good quote and I want to read it from a disability rights influencer saying that it's essentially girl math. The recognition that time, convenience, and money are interchangeable currencies.
Time.
So to me, that sounds like a real life math problem where you're trying to find the value of X that will help you find balance or have balance, diba? Yung elusive balance for us women. So for you guys, what are factors that you consider when doing that whole equation? You mentioned personal growth. Maybe happiness, dogs. But when you're doing the math, what are the things that are most important here? What you consider?
Ako, I think ethics, number one pa rin. Especially when you're offered something, kahit how much pa yan, if it does not align with your values, I don't think anything is, I think you never accept anything that will not align with your values, will put you in trouble later on. And I super agree about registering. So when I put up my page, Instagram page pa lang, 1,000 followers pa lang ako noon. Kasi yung page ko, it was just my friends telling me na, can you put your writing tips on another page so that we can share kasi private. And then I started sharing and then it started getting a following. So when I was around 1,000 followers, I got invited to do a talk already. And then, sabi ko, wala pa akong papers and I don't wanna do it na wala akong papers. Ayoko yung one day, bababalikan ako tapos ang dami-dami mong pinagsasabi on Instagram tapos tumanggap ka, hindi ka na nagbayad ng tax. Diba?
Correct.
Yeah, so
Credibility,
don't make decisions that will put you in trouble.
That's very important, lalo na sa mga nasa social media like industry or what do you call that industry? But yun, yung space natin sa social media.
Yeah.
But just to add, Miss Pola is like, di ba merong your favorite artist's favorite artist. That's Chap Road. So si Miss Pola, I feel like she's your favorite thought leader's favorite thought leader. Like your thought leader, let's say name a public servant, actually follows her and then reads her post muna before that person actually posts. Like marami na akong na-meet na ganyan. Hindi ko lang sabihin muna. Sila na lang bahala mag-expose sarili nila
May
na.
mga nagsabi.
Check muna nila yung post ni Miss Paula. Correct. So, tama ako. Tama yung, okay, magpo-post na ako. Yan.
Yeah, kaya sobrang important for me to stay true to that. Pati yung kunwari, may kailangan akong bayaran, may papasweldohan ako, dapat fair. Hindi pwedeng
Correct.
ako yung mauunang unfair ako magbayad. Tapos sa Instagram ko ito yung sinasabi ko, di ba? Hindi pwede ganun. Kailangan aligned. So, yun. I think that's part of my decision making, di ba? Kasi okay, I'm starting to make pasweldo na kasi I need a team. So, part of that is calculating in my head, nako, how much will to make pasweldo, I think that's one of the most challenging parts because you have to sustain it for a long time and you have to keep your people happy, diba? And syempre, you have to be fair. So, I think that's also part of the decision making. Yun. Ethics.
Correct.
Okay. How about you, Miss Zarah?
Super learning. Yeah. I'm digesting.
Kaya may notebooks tayo na.
I think ako, my approach is, parang, it's a matter of prioritizing things and having a clear roadmap of your priorities. So, nagawa ko na yun, nag-roadmap ako. It's a good exercise, guys. You start with something and then you just write what's next. So, my priorities now, if I may just share, and this is just me, and you can have yours, walang tama, walang mali. My priorities right now, and for so many years, number one is God, okay? And then, ano yung mga activities when you say my priorities is my faith? And then the next one before was family right away. The mga couple or 3 years ago, I changed that. God, myself, and then my family. Because I realized after my faith, I'd give everything to my family. And then, nauubos ako. Then I ended up masungit. So again, you cannot give from an empty cup. I learned that as well in my journey. So now it's God, myself, my family, my friends, my business. Family kasama yung dogs, ha? Mailagay ko lang doon. And then family, friends, and then business. And how does it translate to your daily decision making? So for example, kung Sunday may service, between service and pickleball, what do you do? Service. Diba? Unahin mo. So parang klaro lang yung decision making. Kung meron kang mga crossroads na hindi ka makadecide or baka magkamali ako ng decision. Or if the options are being given to you is between friend activities or decision making but will suffer your family, including your dogs, then syempre, prioritize mo your family because there's hierarchy already of what matters to you as a person. And I would like to reiterate, iba-iba tayo ng priorities. So when I started having that hierarchy, it became clearer. Should I say yes to this event? Kailangan ba ako ng anak ko? Kailangan ba ako ng business ko? Meron ba akong meron ba akong small group today? Kung natapat to sa small group, I would go to small group. And I'd say, Aya, I'll help you look for another speaker that is ganyan, gagawan ko ng paraan. But it's klaro. But I'm not saying all the time it's perfect. Case-to-case basis then. But I notice when I do that, when I deviate, doon nagsisimula yung haywire. The spiraling down or haywire, nagkakagulo when the decision is not based with your priorities. That's how I take the decision making.
It's very enlightening.
Right. Ako rin dina-digest ko lahat.
Digest, yeah.
So, pinili tayo ni Miss Zarah today.
Yes, kasi walang
choose us.
Oo, kasi okay naman sila, mga boys ko, yung anak ko at saka asawa ko. Yung asawa ko ngayon nag-aalaga ng mga dogs, so he's okay. My son now is going to play pickleball with his girlfriend, so they're okay. There is no Bible study today, so I'm okay. Saturday, walang work. So it's okay. So there you go. So I can give my 100% with you guys today and enjoy the moment because the decision making is claro. The priorities are set.
One thing that I noticed with the two of both of you, it's like you fill in your own cup first and then we enjoy the overflow. That's what I'm really getting. And before later on I'll ask about the impact before we move on to the audience questions. But how about you, Miss Paula?
Ayun yung what were you
Ethics.
talking? Ethics.
Pero
Yeah.
meron
Yung
din akong,
ethics nga pala.
meron din
Tapos yung
akong
ganyan naman.
idadagdag. Kasi Miss Zara, you mentioned yung parang decision making mo. It's like negotiating with yourself, di ba?
Yeah.
You negotiate with yourself. Tapos, relate ko lang sa girl math, I actually prefer negotiating with other girls. Iba. I don't know kung bakit. I just noticed when yun nga, may mga deal, ganyan. For some reason, parang yung girls, when we negotiate, kasi I took a negotiation class at Harvard also. Because I was not confident. Kasi feeling ko, negotiation Donald Trump, parang boardroom, tapos marami silang lalaki, tapos ako lang, and then I don't know what to do. So, and then parang I also thought, parang, I don't want someone else to negotiate for me. I also want to know how it is to negotiate. So, again, learning. so I took a class and then dun ko nalaman sa negotiation class that there's no, yung mga ginagawa nila Donald Trump, mga hardball tactics yun. Pero you can develop your own way of negotiating. Like,
When you say hardball tactics, what's that?
So, mga hardball tactics yung may mga, kunwari, bibigyan ka nila ng maraming dokumento para wala kang choice. Kasi hindi mo naiintindihan yung figures.
So parang more of power.
So, power. Yes.
Okay.
Oo. And then, I learned, and then my prof was a female woman siya. So, nalaman ko from that class, iba-iba pala yung ways of negotiating. It doesn't necessarily have to be unethical. In fact, they want you to negotiate ethically. So you give what are your interests? And that's the first thing when you negotiate with other people. Know your interest. What is your priority? Which is what I learned naman, diba? What Miss Zara mentioned now. And when you deal with other women, when deal with other people, you also know what your interest is, what their interest is.
Correct.
And how you can collaborate. So I think that's also something na very girl math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we also apply in our enterprises, respective enterprises, choosing the right partners.
Yes.
You have to be aligned in terms of values. And even with your customers, like, you know who your advocates are.
Correct.
Because you know where you stand on certain principles and values. So, yeah, before we... go, Aya.
Mia, before we ask their few words before the audience, I'd like to ask about how you see your unique way of thinking about things. For sure, you are aware of what separates you from most of your peers or most common knowledge that you don't take. And then you have your own version of something on the way you decide on things. How do you see that affect you being able to impact others? So it's like...
Nag-isip ako bigla. Yung how you impact.
Kasi, ang laki nung responsibilidad nyo.
Correct.
Yet,
To your audience.
you are able to successfully uplift the lives of others. I'm not saying you're the president of the Philippines, you have
Yeah.
fed, families, but you're making a difference.
Oh.
And if me listening right here today, I want to do the same. How? Where do I start? You didn't even mention in any of what you're saying, yet that's what you're doing. My point is, yung iba, you would hear them that's their focal point agad. But you mentioned always like to fill in your own cup. Tapos naging parang byproduct na lang yung impact sa iba.
Siguro,
Yeah.
maybe what does impact look
gets ko
like to
na.
you, and like how do you
Connect ko na lang din yun sa parang when you set your priorities, things become clearer, and also yung self-discovery mo rin, getting to know yourself also is very much important. And then when we talk about impact, but tatanungin mo, ba't mo ba ito ginagawa? Diba? So, me, kaya ko ginagawa tong Zarah Juan brand na to and following my creativity while impacting our communities because galing ako dun eh. Meron akong hugot. So I'm just very much, I feel that it's such a blessing to be able to follow and express myself through creativity. Sarap, for me, it's my bliss. It's my calling. More than just a job, it's already a calling for me. And then I feel like dahil nagagawa ko yung creativity side ko or creative side ko and then nakaka-impact ako ng ibang tao. For me, it's really a fulfillment because na alam ko kasi yung pakiramdam nung nandun sa kabilang side. Kasi galing ako sa, I don't want to romanticize the fact that, galing kami sa hirap, but that's my truth. Hindi ko siya pwedeng i-change. Kasi nakarinig na rin ako minsan na, you're romanticizing your being poor when you grew up, when you were a child. I'm sorry, I cannot change my narrative. That's who I am. I grew up in a very humble beginning and I was able to break the cycle of poverty through creativity. And that's who I am. So, nagkaroon din ako ng hugot kasi I discovered that if I'm a creative person and inayos ko yung sarili ko, and then if I am able to share what I know, in design, in production, in manufacturing, and all those nitty-gritty numbers. Share mo lang naman eh. Diba? You spend time. Because I remember, this is an anecdote, not anecdote, a short story. Apat kayo magkakapatid, 3 babae, 1 lalaki. Ang tatay ko ay government employee na inampon ng faith healer na merong maliit na chapel nang gagamot siya. Ang nanay ko, housewife. So kung government employee yung tatay ko, hindi enough yung income. Definitely kulang. So wisdom ng nanay ko to help my dad, nagtayo siya ng sari-sari store. Brilliant idea. But wasn't brilliant for me because I'm the eldest, so ako tumao doon. Diba? And dahil manggagamot, inampon siya ng manggagamot, ang daming twist ng buhay ko. Marami nagpapagamot, and then may isang araw, may pumunta doon na mukhang may kayang pamilya, stewardess, yung babae, pinapagamot niya yung nanay niya. Nakita ko siya, tuwing darating siya, mukha siyang mabango, ang ganda-ganda niya, maayos. Super dreamy yung image ko of her. And then palagi siyang may imported na PX goods sa dala, may Toblerone, may apple, may grapes. Di ba kasi nakaka-abroad siya. During that time, you only get your M&M's sa PX store. Hindi yan accessible. Apple, pag may nag-abroad. Pag ubas, pag may nag-abroad, pasalubong. Pero ngayon, yung access to that, kahit saan meron. Dati wala yun. So parang napaka-dreamy ng image ko of that lady. And then, one day, bumili siya sa akin. Sabi ko, ang ganda-ganda niyo po, ang bango-bango niyo po. Parang gusto ko po paglaki ko maging katulad niyo. And then you know what she said? Oh, kaya-kaya mo. Mag-aral kang mabuti, alagaan mo yung ngipin mo, alagaan mo yung mata mo, alagaan mo yung kutis mo. Kasi dati yung requirement sa pagiging flight attendant, which is another gender issue, bawal may peklat, bawal may nunal, bawal sungking ngipin, and all those things, diba? So yun ang advice sa. And that's like, I could say, that time that was given to me, maybe less than 1 minute, kaya mo. You can do it. That changed the trajectory of my life. Simula nung nasabi niya sa akin na yon, lahat nung sinabi niya, hindi na ako nagpapainit. Diba? Nagsashampoo na ako ng ulo. I did everything she said to take care of myself because she said, I can do it. I can be a flight attendant. And I did. I was able to do it. So, ngayon, nandun na ako sa part na naging flight attendant, nakagawa ng bag, nagdinegosyo. Pera yun eh. Pero more than the money, what's next? Is it all about money and career success? Or babalik ka sa roots mo and really dig deeper who you are as a person? And I realized that, hey, I can use my creativity to go back to my roots and pay it forward. Ibabalik ko or give it back. Kasi doon ako nanggaling. Naalala ko palagi that flight attendant, which guys, I saw her. Talaga, I saw her.
What's her name?
Miss Len Padilla. Stewardess siya ng Sodia. So, I saw her in the States. And I told her, I know you. Sabi niya, huh? Parang may event ng party sa bahay ng tita ng asawa ko. And then nakita ko yung brother niya, nakita siya. I said, are you Miss Len? I was able to thank you. And for me, that's such a blessing. Just another story. But you see, that's how you impact people. Again, we go back to honoring yourself. When you honor yourself, when you take care of yourself, when you are aware, is there personal growth? Di ba? Am I shortcutting or parang ano sabi ng asawa ko, parang nilulugi mo ba yung sarili mo? You are, ano ba tamang English na?
Ano yun from the audience.
Shortchanging. I always do that.
Coach Kitty talaga.
I always do this so that others would do like that. No, be proud of who you are. Hindi naman pagiging mayabang yun. If people would learn from your story, just go ahead. So when you honor yourself, it will come out. And then you get to know what your values are. And for me, ito yung binavalue ko ngayon. Kasi napunta ako sa path na nakapagtrabaho, bumalik sa paggawa ng bag, yung pagbag, naging negosyong malaki. From two machines sa garahe, naging full blast manufacturing. Naging number 1 nga akong supplier ng SM. And then after that, wait, ayoko nga ng mass production, pero naging mass production ako eh. Napalaki ko yun ang negosyo ko from 2 machines to 200 machines. And I was just so thankful that I was given the opportunity to study sustainability in Sweden. Sobrang akong thankful dan sa opportunity niya. Sa pagbalik ko, hindi ko na kaya. I have to wind down my business. From 200 to 20. It's not about the money. Money will not make you sleep at night. I've experienced having money and losing money, having money and losing money. And the conclusion is, it's not about the money. It's really following your values, you're honoring your roots. Iiyak ako. Because talking to you guys also is an appreciation of my journey. Okay. Okay.
Yun.
And this is what I'm saying. When you prioritize things, you're able to give your 100%. So wala akong iniisip kasi ngayon na meron ba kaming ulam or may ginagawa ba yung anak ko or okay ba yung asawa ko or may magpe-payroll ba sa business ko ngayon. Because na-prioritize mo siya. So I'm all yours today. Heart and soul.
Aww. I love it. Thank you so much.
Hindi dapat malungkot, dapat masaya. Because it's Women's Day. But
Joyful.
you see, nahuhugot ko tuloy yung lahat pinanggalingan ko and I'm so happy to share that with you. Kasi hindi ko naman sinasabi, hey, mayaman ako ngayon. It's not that. It's the journey, the beauty of the journey when you discover things that you have to honor yourself. And you have to prioritize things and always be grateful. Kasi yung sari-sari store na yon, if I may just kwento again, sorry. Pag tinatanong ako nung bago ako sa industry, sino ba yung babae na yan? Nag-aral, saan ba siya? Ba't bila na lang lumusot yung babae na yan? Nag-aral ba yan ng fashion? Did you go to school? Yan yung mga natanggap ko sa industry nung bago ako. Kasi fashion, kailangan, di ba? Yeah. Fashionista, di ba ako fashionista? May nagtanong talaga sa akin, did you go to school for this? I go, huh? Dati, pag tinatanong ako, nachochoke ako kasi na-magnify yung galing ako sa hirap. Pero ngayon, natatawa na lang ako. No? No, I did not go to school for this. But I remember that sari-sari store my mom created. Dahil ako yung panganay, ako yung nilagay niya doon. Nainip ako sa sari-sari store, my playmates. I would, from inside, looking outside, I would see them play and I'm inside. Hanap akong paraan. So, hanap ako ng mga, naisip ko lang mangolekta ng mga scrap ng tela. Inuwi ko sa sari-sari store. And there, I started putting things together with my manika na nag-iisang pinag-aagawa namin magkakapatid. Tatahian ko yan ng skirt, ng blouse. Pag nakakuha ko ng lace, wedding collection, pagka bulaklakin, summer collection. So, several years of that. And now, I can truly say when people would ask me, did you go to school for, making bags and designing bags? Did you go to school kasi designer ka na ngayon tinatag? Before, I would joke. Now, I would proudly say, no, but I had my sari-sari store story. Oh. It was a setup. I thought it was a setback during that time, but actually, it was a setup, 40 years ago? That I would be able to tell my story in front of you guys. So, again, the lesson there is sometimes there are hardships, but if you just learn from it, is actually an opportunity pala that was being set up for you. Business ko or business understanding ko, galing sari-sari store, nanunukli ka, nagpupuhunan ka, nagre-report ako sa nanay ko, magkano benta, magkano ang naiwan na pera, magkano ang babayaran sa Meralco, pag ginastos natin tong pera, hindi na tayong pambili ng tinda next week. Business Math 101.
Girl math.
Girl math. That is girl.
Oo. I mean, thank you for sharing us your story because sabi nyo nga kayo yung ate namin, di ba? And it's a really big reminder for us to not chase the wrong things. Most especially, usually we do the insights after the interview. But if I can just share, of course, in my industry, renewable energy, it's always be the next unicorn, or like a valuation of $1 billion US dollars. Be the next, exponentially grow. And you saying that you reduced from 200 down to 20, and then saying it's not always about the money. Hindi ko ikatutulog ng mahimbingin sa gabi. That's impactful to me because it's not always, you won't always hear that from from the majority. So thank you for
Miss
sharing.
Yeah, that's
your
exactly
story.
why we set up Why She Works, is to have stories, no? Like, it's so special and
Baka
so
nahulog
precious.
na yung eyelashes ko. Hindi ko may ROI.
Actually, mistake nga namin na hindi kami nagka-tissue dito. Kasi yung last live recording
Minaiyak din
namin,
ba?
parang lahat, di ba?
I'm so sad na tissue.
Thank you so much for that. It was a wonderful story and a surprise to all of us.
Yeah.
Paula, do you want to add
I don't
something?
even want to talk anymore.
No, sige, ay, tatanong ko ulit.
Powerful
Hindi kasi,
testimony,
hindi kasi
diba?
yung tanong ko talaga, it's coming from like, make it make sense. Like, di ba? Like, these people are just keep talking about themselves. Like, it's, but their impact is wild. So, make it make sense. Paano nangyari yun? So, kaya pala. Kasi it's why she works. Like, literally.
Why she works.
Why she
How
works.
about you?
Okay, so siguro I'll share something that also happened during my childhood, which I've shared at the Cosmo Women of Influence when I got awarded. So when I was 7 years old, I became a victim of sexual abuse. And at 7, I did not have the words for it. So I was not able to report. That is why I am in the business of words. Because I don't think it's just a choice. I think it's a calling. Now that I have the words, I can tell stories. Now, I may not be able to undo what was done to me when I was younger. But by telling other people's stories, by calling out injustice in society, then I can do kahit konti. Because language is universal. Diba? Of course, we speak different languages, but that's our currency. That's how we understand each other, how we understand the world. And that's why I'm here. I think it's not it's not just but I think it's not just, because of that experience. I think now it's a larger mission. It's not just, and how many ang mga babae who's abused. And I know women's mga dapat positive, pero let's be honest, 1 out of 3 women today. So a third of this, likely you've experienced abuse also. Diba? So when you have an experience like that, how can you change your own narrative? Last Women's Day, I was lucky to be with a group called Pave Philippines. They are rape survivors. And I was so shocked how they changed their own narrative from victim to survivor. It was a gathering. They were singing songs about the abuse, pero in a much, telling their stories, not being afraid. And I think that's what we do with words. And on that note, parang words are not just used and, hindi lang yan, it's not just, whatever, I just blurt it out of my mouth. Hindi. Words, they carry so much power. Whether that's from a powerful person, it shows power dynamics. It keeps people in their place. If you are called something, you're put in a certain place. But I think for all of us here, we all have the power to change our narratives, to change our stories, diba? So yun, that's it for me.
Wow. Ano, speechless na.
Nagtitigan lang kami.
Joke lang.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Miss Pola. Thank you so much.
Thank you for being vulnerable with us.
Oo. For entrusting us those. Thank you. And it's very raw. Alam natin hindi siya pa showbiz. Diba? Ko ba yung sinabi? Gets yun na yun.
Tama ka.
So,
I like it that way. Yeah.
Well,
now we're opening it up to the floor.
we do have some questions from the audience. Actually, may registered questions, but if you want to answer it or to ask it on stage with us, that would be better. So you can ask the questions directly to the guests. Anyone want to ask a question? Oh,
Yeah.
na-shy tayo.
Hi.
No, you want to choose ba from here?
Sige. We'll choose from those who registered and then
Let's see.
I think maganda yung
Yeah.
what's a challenge you face now or you see that you thought would no longer be an issue at this stage of your career? Yung parang, 2025 na. Yan pa rin ba?
A challenge. Career-wise ba to?
Any can be career or
Anyone
personal.
can answer.
I think now, yun na-notice ko na, I don't know if you guys can relate, but I just found out a few years ago that you're always supposed to negotiate your first offer. Hindi pala honest yung first offer. It's always a must pala to negotiate
talaga?
the first offer.
Hindi ko
So I
kaya.
think,
Hindi ko nga rin.
see, diba?
Kaya pala yung margins namin.
So always negotiate the first offer. I think it's a challenge because hindi pala tayo nagiging honest. Meron palang there's another
so how do you think it
way
should be?
pala. Ayun,
Kasi I think there's always like that first offer, meron siyang wiggle room for let's meet in the middle.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I think part of that is knowing what your value is and that
Correct.
you should be able to say, oh, this is what I deserve.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
You have to negotiate your first
So if you don't
offer.
ask, you won't get it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oo.
Yeah.
So better to ask na lang. Yeah, tama.
Ang ganda nun Kayo ba? Meron ba kayo?
Personally, I yung struggle ko up to now after giving birth, I still have the baby weight.
Me too.
Yeah, exactly. Uy, wag kang tumagal. 21 years old na yung anak ko. But it's a struggle, diba? It's a struggle for me. If I'm saying that I've been prioritizing stuff, there's also there, like a point of weakness. I'm not, I have a polycystic ovary. It contributes to that. But I feel like every day, there's not a day that I don't think about how I am going to eat, how I'm going to lose weight and stuff like that. But, and my son is already 21 years old. I used to be 56 kilos, like you. But now I'm like, 100 kilos? So, transparency. But it's a struggle. Tao natin yung hinaharap every day. I think what's important, what to highlight about it is you don't give up. Diba? Now I'm playing pickleball. I'm happy.
Okay.
Yeah. So, diba? Tuloy-tuloy lang. Tuloy-tuloy lang. If you get stuck, it's okay. Kasi sometimes yung getting stuck is also your body telling you don't need to do anything right now.
Oh, it's a segue ko to this question. It's about being stuck.
Okay.
How do we spark and reignite creativity amidst burnout?
Ayan, dami
May nagtanong
nag-nod.
yan.
Ang dami nag-nod. Oh. May mukhang maraming nababurnout dito. We got each other, guys.
Totoo yan. Oo.
Ako, I take a break. I remember in October talagang I dropped, nag-post ng 1 month. Which is not ideal daw because yung algorithm will start pushing your content less. But you have to prioritize yourself first talaga.
Exactly.
So, I stopped. And then, later on, hinanap ko na siya. So, yeah. Pero, don't get me wrong. I still struggle with, I still overdo things.
Correct.
I still always work until I am close to empty battery.
Ikaw
So,
ba
that's
yun?
something to work on.
Ikaw ba yung type na kunwari, nag-breakdown, kunwari, ita-time mo yung sarili mo or you feel it out? Hindi, di ba? Ano yun eh? Like,
Yeah,
debate yun
may
among my
ganun.
friends talaga. Like, do you time yourself? And ako rin, myself, like, I sometimes do that. So parang, healthy ba yun? Tama ba yun?
Meron akong moments where I wrap myself in a comforter na burrito wrap. So,
With your dog.
Ganon. With my dog.
Talagang you feel it lang.
Yeah, I feel it. And you acknowledge din. I think it's also good to acknowledge weakness, diba? It's humbling to acknowledge weakness. And we're not superhumans. Kasi nung mga 2023 pala, end of 2023. Dami kong ginagawa. Tapos, nagkasakit ako. May events ako sunod-sunod. Sabi ko, di wala to. 41 na yung fever ko. Di wala to. Kasi hindi ko na kaya pala umalis. Ayun, dinala ako sa ER for confinement na pala ako. Gano'n na pala kalala. Tapos muntik pa ako mamatay the second day. So sabi ko, hindi na uulit. Tapos pumirma pa ako ng contract habang hospitalized. Then sabi ko nun, hindi pala to sustainable. Kasi hindi ko rin magagawa. Actually, the only reason pumunta ako ng hospital, sabi ng mom ko, sige, sa taas ng fever mo, magde-deliryo ka, yung brain mo ma-affect, hindi ka na makakapag-post.
Correct.
So, oo nga, may point siya. So, sumama ko. And then doon ko na-realize na hindi pala yun healthy. Kasi hindi mo rin magagawa yung goal mo in the end pag tegi ka na, di ba?
Yeah.
So, wag naman tayo mategi.
Correct. Super agree with that. Tawa lang tayo, lahat tayo ma-burnout at some point. I also parang analyzing my journey and then going back to yung developing good habits and discipline that gives you stamina. And that's actually sort of an antidote to burnout. When you develop good habits, mas mahaba yung time bago ka ma-burnout. Bago ka mapuno. So, bago pa dumating sa burnout, I guess it's also wise to acknowledge, to develop such discipline for stamina. Kasi yung business talaga, hindi mahihinto yan eh. Pero kung mahina yung different aspect of our lives, personal, spiritual, financial, physical, di ba? At some point, mas madaming burnout moments. Okay. So, na-realize ko din yun. And that's why I'm really addressing my health. I'm not getting any younger. So, dati, laban ako ng puyatan, kaya ko. Hindi na. Tulog na ako. Tapos, dati meron akong habit na 5 a.m. habit, gising na ako. Because pag nag-5:01, di pa ako nakatayo, feeling ko, naunahan na ako ng mundo. Tamad ako.
5 a.m.
Tamad ako, 5 a.m. Yeah, I used to be, are
Nasa
you
REM
familiar
pa lang
with the
ako
5 a.m. club? So there's such a thing. That's 5 a.m. club. You
Grabe.
experience, the blessings of waking up early, being by yourself. Tulog pa lahat ng tao, gising ka na. There's something in that moment. But if I don't sleep early, then I have no right to wake up early because that will burn out my body. So acknowledging all those things. So for me, you're right. Stepping back is always a good idea. May it be a form of vacation or just playing with your dogs or buying yourself a pen.
A pen?
A pen.
Pen talaga.
Are you a pen addict also?
I love pens.
Me too.
But ayoko na maging addict. Hindi na siya girl math.
Bago to sa akin Ganun ako lang yung shock. Is it really a thing? Pen?
Then si secret.
Expensive ones. They can be very expensive.
Actually, parang the other day na nagsulat ako sa journal, I bought a new pen. I deserve it.
Very good.
Yeah, di ba? Simpleng bagay that would reset you, refocus, reframe. Diba?
Yeah.
So that then you develop good habits again and then ganun. So
But I think this is coming from me. One practical, actionable, applicable habit that you can share with us that you think nag-avoid sa inyo ng burnout. Okay, example. Like, I have a friend who told me, I wash the dishes before I sleep. And then sabi niya sa akin, it prevents me from having burnout because no gadgets daw talaga sa paghugas niya ng pinggan. It's her contemplating her life sa paghugas niya ng pinggan. And now, looking back, sabi niya, I think it's that action. And then, sinare niya sa akin yung additional habit niya ngayon. Pag maghuhugas daw siya ng pinggan, hey guys, it's bath time. As in, yun daw yung... Yeah. So, I think
Kasi
yung
yung nagagaling sa audience.
Yeah. So, sinabi niya yun sa akin and I'm trying to apply it. So, parang okay. Like, so baka lang may ganun kayo na kakaya niyang pen. Parang, okay. It's parang, baka pwede ko ma-try. So, baka lang may ganun kayo. If wala, okay lang din. To prevent burnout. That you think you're
Parang
making...
shifter.
It's making your life extra,
Ang hirap kasi, di ba we had here, the last time we were here, there was the talk about your inner saboteurs.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm a perfectionist.
From Coach Kitty.
Yes. So, even my hobbies, kailangan competitive ako. And sabi nung sister ko, ate, ang hobby, dapat hindi ka competitive kasi magiging stress. Oo nga.
Correct.
Kasi, hobby ko mag-sing. I sing with a group. Join ako ng UP Concert Chorus, join ako bukas palad. Siyempre lahat yun, professional acting. So, minsan, nagiging source of stress din siya because I have to attend rehearsals twice a week. And then all the other things that I have to go through, diba? So now I'm trying to find a hobby that is not competitive. That I will not be competitive about. Kasi pati yung dog ko. Competitive sa dog.
I love
Yung first dog ko, may gold medal siya. Sa parang race. Yung pangalawang dog ko, nanalo siya sa DMCI na parang Sparkly Pets last year. And yung third dog ko,
I love
binibining
it.
Aspen. So, yes, ganon. Kaya, kailangan ng hobby na hindi ako competitive. Thank you for letting me know that I'm a perfectionist. Now I know. I'm a stickler. So, yeah.
I love it.
Let us
Binibining
know pag
Aspen.
meron ka ng hobby.
Abangan namin
So
yan.
ngayon, Netflix na lang and
Okay.
HBO Max. Oo. At least doon hindi rin ako, ayoko maging competitive doon na parang 3 series per day. Hindi rin yun maganda. So,
Noted.
diba? Yeah. Chill lang, chill.
Going back to the pens, before, just to validate, may mga validations pa akong kailangan before. Lahat naman tao, we need to be validated. So, I already knew how to make bags, but feeling ko nga, ayan, yung di ako nang pag-aral eh. Kaya, so, I went to SOFA. Garal ako. I took the short course of bag making and grabe yung competitiveness ng mga classmate ko. Yung may mga maleta. Pero Pero ang laman, puro ball pen, gel pen, gunting. Yung mga color pens lahat. Tapos, meron akong foreigner na friend. Di ko naman siya sinishame. Pero talagang sobra akong, what? As in, maleta, punong-puno ng pens. Pero ako naman, naingit ako. Parang, magbibili din ako niyan. Di ba? So, and then, there's this teacher, si Teacher Chris in Sofa. Sabi niya sa akin, why do you have to buy all these things? Sabi ko, it makes me happy. Hindi ako makadrawing ng walang ganyan. Diba? Pag bago ko babagawa ng new collection, I need to buy pens or scissors. I actually used to collect scissors. But then sabi niya, okay, so let's dig deeper to that. What will happen to you if I remove all your pens? And then there are designers also that they need to travel to create a new collection. What if pandemic happens and you won't be able to travel? What will happen to your work?
It becomes a crutch.
Yes, diba? Debilitating siya in the end. So what he did, he gave me the ugliest pencil. Alam niyo yung pang grade 1 na mataba?
Tapos pangat mag-erase.
Yes, yung black. Na hindi napuputol right away. Na pinaka-hate coat pa ng, ayoko lang siya makita, ganyan. Ayoko siyang gamitin. And ayoko din dati ng dirtiest, yung maduming paper. Yung parang hindi pristine. Diba? Parang meron pa akong mindset, kailangan maganda yung susulatan ko. He gave me that. Sabi niya, there, dyan ka magdi-design. I'm gonna take all of it. Draw. I said, oh, no. But that's a good exercise. Because it's sometimes we tend to create a lot of requirements na tayo may gawa.
Yeah.
And then we can't move because these requirements are not fulfilled. Yeah. I need to go to a fashion school to become a bag designer. Paano nga kung hindi?
Yeah.
How do you get out of it? Diba? I need to, wala na masama kung mag-aaral, but what if you can't?
Yeah.
Diba? So there's a level of discipline and mindset and reframing, unlearning things, reframing and unlearning things to be able to have these mga requirements. Okay lang sometimes pag bili ka na ng pen, pero hindi na siya dapat debilitating na hindi ka makaka-reset if you don't do it.
Because of that.
Correct. Mga pang-ano lang yan, mga pang-aliw moment, pwede na yon.
Yeah.
Pero kung naapektuhan na yung discipline mo.
Nice. What time na ba? I need to check the time.
Okay.
4?
Medyo.
Ay, magpipickleball ako.
Yeah, oo nga may pickleball siya.
But maybe one question
Question,
from the
yeah.
audience. Oh, yeah.
Ayan
Okay,
na.
can you please come over to the mic, Tampari?
Go na.
Hear your question. Go na daw.
Thank you.
It's a bit connected to the burnout question. So I
Yes.
feel like, okay, you've gone through burnout, you're on the way to recovery, and then you kind of feel so comfortable in the recovery. You feel like now this time...
You don't want to go back.
Yeah, you don't want to go back. You're starting to be lazy. So how do you get back into action after that? And what makes you... Or what can you tell yourself when you're thinking like, hey, I think I'm being too comfortable in just doing nothing right now. How do you get back after that?
Oh, napatayo si Ms. Zarah.
You want to start? Or ako muna?
Sorry, my name's Gucci.
Hi, Gucci.
Gucci, like the brand, but not
Gucci.
but not connected to the brand. So no,
Hi,
no
Gucci.
financial.
Hi, Gucci.
Hi, Gucci. For me, it was, like I said, last October, I took a break. And I got into that, parang, I don't wanna post anymore because ang saya na pala not to post, not to think about anything, not to, because sometimes posting can cause anxiety. Diba? Like, I'm not sure naman if people will agree with me. And I'm sure there are people who do not. So, I get stressed with the comments then and stuff. So, not posting for a month was like, okay na, I don't wanna. And then I can't think of ideas anymore, ganyan. And then I went back to comments of other people about my work. And I think that's what ultimately brings me back is, parang I don't wanna, I'm shocked whenever people say that I impact them kasi feel ko it's just me. But since meron palang impact, then I think that's it's an external motivation that other people are, I'm able pala to impact other people. I'm able to reach someone that I don't know. I'm able to affect one student to decide to take comms or to decide to take up writing, to decide to write their first article. So that kind of motivation, I think, is what we need, something external so that we can go back to ourselves and reignite ourselves.
Go back to yourself.
Yeah.
Nice. Galing. Kasi I actually, inisip ko the answer to your question. Medyo nga parang ano nga ba yun? Paano nga ba yun? And then tama niya to go back, di ba? So parang feeling ko, what she did actually was reevaluation of her purpose. Di ba? Like she started reading the comments and how her post would impact others kasi mga positive comments yun na parang thank you for this and thank you for that. And that actually na-reignite. Sabi mo na, na-reignite. So when you're stuck in that position, it's okay. You have to tell yourself, it's okay, tao lang tayo. Burnout is being human. Okay, and also recognizing that when there's burnout, there is an imbalance somewhere. So, natutunan ko din, being a very passionate person, 100% all the time. May balik siya pag you do it without prioritizing things. So, I always have learned to stay in the middle of things. Extremely good, extremely bad is always tipping the balance. So always stay in the middle. So reevaluate your purpose. If nothing comes out, just do what makes you happy at that very moment. If it's singing, if it's dancing, if it's dressing up, if it's putting on makeup, just start somewhere that gives that bring back that joy in your heart. Think of yourself first. Diba? Kung nahanap mo yun, kunyari, it's journaling. Don't need to get out of bed. Just do this. Makes me happy. I'll sleep again. You have to honor that. The moment you tell yourself, oh, no, I have to get back now. My mom's doing this and saying this and my friends are already there and I'm still here. It's a vicious cycle. So let them be and focus on yourself and say, oh, today I'm going to shampoo my hair.
Yeah.
Little things. Little things. One step at a time.
Yeah.
Honor that journey. Accept that we are human and we are broken and we are prone to all these things. And once you recognize that, start opening yourself to joy. What gives you joy? What gives you joy? Me. So that you can step out of your room. And I pray that you step out of that. Okay?
Thank you.
Beautiful last words. I wish we had more time.
Yeah. I'm just really grateful. Thank you for your question.
Thank you for your question. Yeah.
Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being you. For just existing.
Okay.
Yeah. Really. It's 2025. My younger self, I remember, dreaming of one day we'll hear this kind of setup. I'm gonna feel this one day, and I am feeling it. So I'm so grateful. And I hope we will see each other again. We'll engage with each other again, and then it's a full circle wherein
Full circle.
Hi, one day I was listening to your podcast.
Full circle.
And then
Someday.
someday, or it's just very I'm just feeling so hopeful. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
So much for agreeing to share your stories. Thank you to Patch for giving us the space.
Thank you,
I wish we really had
Patch.
more time.
I will keep this.
So before we end, we want to express our gratitude to a few people and organizations. Thank you to Spark Project for making this podcast happen. To our co-presenter, Woven, my team there.
Yes.
If you want to know more, visit www.thesparkproject.com and woven.ph. Of course, thank you to our beautiful guests, Miss Zarah Juan and Pola, for taking the time to sit with
I like
us
the beautiful.
and share their stories. Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Credits. We just want to end with some credits lang. So
sa
credits.
sobrang hindi ako nakapagbasa ng script eh. Sabi, nag-print ako tapos di. Credits to our sound mixer, Pete Kaimbon and Mira. Thank you so much for handling the recording. To Isabel Hernandez for creating our beautiful cover art. And to the Woven ladies at the back for helping us arrange everything leading up to the event. Of course, Sai, our videographer.
Yes.
First time namin mag-video. So, diba?
Thank you again to Tsaa, Laya for sponsoring our teas. So the afternoon is not yet over. Please stay and enjoy our snacks.
Yes.
And na hinanda ng, yung setup na hinanda ng nanay natin. Mga nanay
Yes.
natin.
And also, we have giveaways for
Yeah.
you guys. That's Skin Station packages. Thank you so much, Skin Station. They're giving away 100,000 worth of gift packages to us.
Wow!
So, you can just check it out. Iba-iba siya ng laman. I personally have been using these products since 2015. Okay siya. So, I really handpicked them to you guys. And then, mag-exchange na lang kayo kung gusto nyo magpalit-palit. Kasi meron for acne, sunblock. So, magpalit na lang kayo kung anong gusto nyo.
Yes.
Of course, thank you, Patch, to Patch Dulay for believing in us for this project.
You put this together like 3 weeks ago. It's like during one of the events here, like, Patch, pwede ba tayo mag-go Women's Month activity? And he was like super game for
Ay,
it.
ikaw
So,
pala pasimuno nito.
sorry, yes, and parang clutch.
Hindi.
Kasi sabay. So,
Buta
yeah.
na unahan natin silang i-book. Please follow at Why She Works and at Spark Project HQ on Instagram
and Facebook.
And Facebook for updates on our next episodes. We are just, small steps, one day at a time dun kami dito. But one thing is sure, we really want to put out these kinds of stories out there. Once again, this is Aya Fernandez.
I'm Trish Lim Francia, and
This is Why She Works. And this is Why She Works.
Yeah! I'll turn the mic over to Audrey.